All right, is the audio better now? Looking at you, Shaka. Is it better? Is it worse? Is it garbly? Oh, let's check it over here. And let's see how it sounds. And let's see how it sounds. It's sounding right over on Twitch, so I'm not sure. Okay, great. Thanks for the heads up on letting me know the audio was being screwy. That happens sometimes with the software, so definitely want to. Thanks for the heads up on that, man. All right, so had to unplug and plug back in my Wave XLR. Simple fix. IT fix. Turn it on and off again. But this Poor Ender 3 is sitting here in front of me. I'm going to switch the cameras. We are going to replace back to the original factory harness. And I'm going to go ahead and change the hot end and everything and all the wiring because we got to do some additional wiring to add the laser fitting. So I'm going to rip off the mods and put it back to factory because honestly, my new print shop, I don't care if it's quiet or not. Well, I mean, it needs to be somewhat quiet, but not that quiet. But these mods were meant for this to be in my office, and this printer no longer lives in my office. And honestly, she's just been abused, and it's time to give her some love. So that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to rip off these components. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get the camera to show you the motherboard as I do work on there, because the motherboards are pretty much similar across the CR and Ender series. So a lot of the power cables, all that kind of stuff is pretty straightforward and similar. And actually, I'm just now thinking I may be missing a tool, which that will be bad if I am, but we will work through it. It's not that far for me to roll. Actually, now I think about it. Sometimes I keep one in here. And today, obviously, I don't. So I will eventually probably have to head out to the garage to grab a flat tip screwdriver when I get into the motherboard. Now that I'm just now thinking about that. Because, of course, I'd have a Phillips, but not a flat tip. That's all right. And actually, I don't even think I need to go to the garage. I think I've got some sitting back with my CR10 M4. So I probably don't have to go that far to get what I need. But find the right size here of Allen wrench I need to start undoing this printer. There we go. So I'm going to switch you guys over to side view so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Hopefully I can keep my hands out of the way. But I'm going to take this old mounting off. That was for this old hot end that has seen its days. Flail cover. So how's everybody doing tonight while I unscrew these? So this is probably going to be a little bit of a longer than usual stream, but hey, it's Friday night. Why not have some fun, right? And this is something I keep putting off doing this. I've just been needing to get it done, so that's what we're gonna do. So we'll set those parts off to the side. This used to slip on and hold onto here so I could work on it, but you can notice it cracked. That happened during the move. That's how long it's been since I've used this poor printer, and it didn't deserve that, but you know, the Odins just kind of took its place of the Focus Odins took its job mainly. That my Odins are just so dependable that I didn't need to fix this. Stormtrooper armor, nice. You got to go back and take a look at the video of the Death Trooper armor I did. That was a heck of a build. So, and I'm getting ready to. I'm trying to figure out which Spartan armor I want to start doing for Christmas, for Halloween this year. I'm going to cut this zip tie. Now, right now, I'm not too worried about it. All this component can come off. So all this stuff can go away. So I'm going to peel it back to here. And we're going to get that moved away. Now, while I'm up here working on this piece, I'm going to go ahead and mount the new components, which I have just spilled my Zem paintbrushes. No! If you guys are looking for really good miniature brushes, go check out zembrush.com. It is they're awesome brushes. I love them. So, all right, so old components have moved over there. New components are coming up here. Get in the box and get my bolts. And as we do in every video, we don't need a box. Yeah, I did. It was 2 years ago. I did the Imperial Death Trooper armor for Halloween. And before that, the year before that was the Mando armor. Last year, we didn't get an armor set. That's on me. Because of the move, we started planning the move and everything and just getting moved here. I just didn't have time to get an armor set out, to be honest. So, because armor sets are long haul productions, as you well know, Shaka. If you're doing one, it is a very long production. It takes a lot. So I'm trying to figure out, yep, that's the way I want it. Get that on there. Get the initial bolt in place so we can get this part of the printer pretty much wrapped up pretty quick. Well, sometimes if it will cooperate. Most of the time they do. But even I have off days, and I will tell you, it has been an off week for me. So, day's been going good. It's been busy. Busy week. Lots of decisions, lots of, adulting, that kind of stuff. So, well, I mean, back when I did my Imperial armor and did the full armor, that was how long did that take us? I think that one took me 3 months, I think is what I worked on it. Now that's painting it, working on it. That's the whole thing. It took me about 3 months of printing and painting. And that was all doing it with my CR10 Max, which love that printer. It does such a good job. Why do I have a feeling I put that on backwards? No, I had to put it on. That has to be right, because that can't go that way. So it's just a wiring issue. Make all the wires fit. Make it all happy. There we go. That's what we want to see. All right. 2 additional little bolts with their washers. So when I printed mine, it was just kind of a wait on the printer to finish so I could get to the next piece. And I actually bought a $100 spool, a black. It was $100. It was 5K in one big spool for that CR10 Max. Everything looked identical when I did it. It was fantastic. I loved it. We'll get this little bolt in. Now I'm not ripping off all the mods. I'm leaving the power supply mods and the mods down in here. But I just don't need... This piece needed to go back to the original factory. because of the way the laser mounts. So I want to use the Creality laser, and it magnetically just sits on the front of this. So the cool part about this is there is a microchip and wiring that is needed, which we'll install this when we get down to the motherboard. But this guy just goes tink tink on there, and you run your wiring, and all of a sudden your Ender 3's got a laser attached. Well, again, Shaka, it was a 5 kilograms. It was 5 spools all in one. It was only $100, which is not a bad cost when you think about it. Because the average spool that I buy ranges about $19. I got 5 of them in one big spool. So the CR10 Max, I did not have to worry about it running out of filament. And that was the whole point, was some of the pieces I was printing, like the chest plate, was more than 1 kg of filament with supports. So I had to up the game a little bit to make that work. So that's why I went with the 5 kg spools. And actually, even with this new M4, I'm kind of looking at how can I mod to let that big boy have a 5 kg spool. And that's kind of one of the things I'm working on. So I'm going to set the actual laser component to the side. I'm going to need to install in the motherboard this chip, which actually powers the laser from the motherboard. So I'm going to set that kind of to the side too. And now we're down to the mama board here, which is under here. All right. So gentlemen, there's the brain of your printer. There is your brain. There's where all the smarts and everything happens. Everything good about your printer is right here. This is where it all takes place. The SD card, everything. This is just an LCD. It doesn't really do anything without that working. So what we got to do is disconnect a certain wires, because we got on here, we've got the power cables for the heater, we've got the thermostat, then you've got all the fans. So we have to disconnect the proper wires. Sounds easy, right? Since I modded it, not so much. So, okay. So I know that's that one. The blue and yellow go to the blue and yellow. So those have to come out. Now, which thermistor are you? Okay, and it's this thermistor. So I'm going to unplug that. I'm going to unplug that. And I'm going to go ahead and tilt this up. And I'm going to get those wires out of my way, because I can. So we get that pulled out of the back. There's the blue and green. That's one fan. The 2 whites that we're pulling out is the thermistor. And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this plate because it's in my way. All right. So now we are down to the point that I need a screwdriver, and specifically I need a flat tip micro. And because I'm not that bright sometimes, I have my iFixit kit actually sitting here. That should contain the screwdriver that I need. And it does. So we're going to get in there. We're going to get this fan disconnected. And we're going to disconnect the heater. All right. So there's the heater. Those are pulled out. Then there's that fan. So we're going to pull that wire where it should be. Actually, almost able to pull all these out. What I have in my hand are buck converters. They allow me to reduce the voltage coming out of the printer because it's a 24 volt printer, but my fans were only 12 volt. So I had to use the converter to reduce the fans. So now, am I going to throw all this away? No, I'm going to salvage the fans. I'm going to get my buck converters. This Micro Swiss hot end is still good. I will get all of that out. And I will put all those bits back in my parts bin. So now we are back down to the factory board, which that is a good thing. This is all factory. This is all standard component. Now we can grab the new cabling. Actually, I just realized a flaw in my logic. There was a part I needed off there to go in the extruder. So I need to get that piece off. So I can actually plug in my Bowden tube. Shaka, send me an email. I'll send you a link to it. It's on Amazon. But there's a specific one that I really liked. So I will definitely send you a link for them. Really good company, really good customer service. Never had a problem. They only have 3 colors though. They have black, white, and coffee. I actually loved all 3 colors, just to be honest. As a matter of fact, I think I still have... I'm currently using a white spool. I think I still have a black spool upstairs. But really liked them. Really, really, really good company to work with. So definitely recommend. Now, where did I put the laser instructions? Controllable fan socket. That is a different motherboard. Huh. I'm betting it's this socket over here, because that socket was not used. Yep, that's it. It's just at a different position on this printer. All right. Hey, how's it going? West Africa, wow. Welcome to the stream as we give this poor ailing printer some new life. Try to back that up a little bit. There we go. So now what I've got to do is come back here, and there is just a small spot to thread all these wires into the motherboard. Oh, I need to get them all in so I can get everything plugged back in and get the new wire plugged in. All right. Now, I know you guys really can't see what I'm doing. I've just pulled all the wires in, but I'm going to also grab and insert the wire I need for my laser. So since I'm in here, I'm going to go ahead and get that in place as well. All right. That one's probably should go the other way because that would be the smart thing to do. And what this does is it supplies power to the laser. That's its whole job. And we'll get that pulled through the back here too. All right. There we go. Push that back. So we've got the new wires. We've got the laser wires. Now we get to start putting them back in their spots. Fun, 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 fun. So, all right. So this is going in my board. So there's two fan controllers normally. Now in newer boards, this one, they would both be in a line. But on my board, it's one back. So I will get that one plugged in. So now I've got the circuitry board for my and buck converter for my laser in the system. Actually, I'm going to unplug it, place it underneath, and bada boom, bada bing. There we go. All right, I'm gonna take my thermostat wire. It goes way up here in the front on the board. Let's see here. So I'm gonna get it plugged in. I'm going to take the secondary fan, which is this one. I'm going to plug it into its port. Boom. There we go. All right. So I'm going to tuck this guy down and away because now we got to plug in, we got to tie in the heater and the fan. Now the cool thing is the board power tells me something. Go in that order. So for this one, and typical male fashion, I always misplace my tools even though they're right in front of me. And we'll tighten that wire in place. And I missed it. That's the fun of these. They're never easy to get. I think I got it that time. I did get that one. So black, red, black, red. So just like that, that's my front fan right here. Black, red, black, black, red, black, red. Now all that's left is the heater. Now you notice the heater is two red wires. What? Why are they both red? Well, honestly, it doesn't matter the position that I put these in. So these are the two that I don't have to really care. They can go however I insert them. So, and they will go in these first two positions. So I'll get my first one in. These sometimes can be the harder ones. I got that one first shot. I know this is probably kind of hard to see, guys. And just so you guys do know, I appreciate you guys being here and joining the stream. I know this was an impromptu. We had a corruption of today's video. That's why I went ahead and did a live stream. And honestly, I've been putting off this work for way too long. So again, I appreciate everybody for joining. Because honestly, this is just kind of fun to do sometimes. And I don't know why I kept putting it off, because I actually enjoy doing this stuff with the mods and all that jazz. I just kept putting it off. All right. There we go. All right. So I'm going to pull that back so that we can tuck that in. Then I can bring... I keep losing pieces. I keep losing pieces. Doo-dah, doo-dah. I'm going to bring the cover back into place. And bolt that one back, bolt this bad boy back into place. I think these are the right size. Yeah, there's the other one. So while we're wrapping up here with this one, anybody got any other 3D printing questions or fun going on? Projects you're working on? All that kind of fun stuff? This is kind of shaping up to be a short stream, unfortunately, but I wanted to get this new hot end reinstalled. There we go. This printer is now in one piece and is ready to go back up to my print shop. You guys can see the older style harness is now back in place. I'm gonna have to definitely redo some leveling because this thing is all the way down on the kill switch, so it's not right. So I'll have to kind of do some work to get that going. Make sure this, because I'll have to recalibrate for the new hot end, because sometimes it can be lower, sometimes it can be higher, because I was set for the micro Swiss hot end. So now we are switched back over. We should be good to go. Take this back up to the shop. I'll plug her back in and we got a printer running. So we got one that I haven't had working in quite a while. Now again, the reason why I did this ripped off the modifications is, one, I don't need it to be silent. And two, and I won't run this, you know, in here, because this will go out to the, actually this will probably go to the garage to be run to test out the creality add-in laser. So that's kind of what I'm hoping. A hot end change out on a Ender can be very, very quick. It is not a hard task. As long as you remember where your wires plug in, it's actually relatively simple and quick. Honestly, I don't know why I've been putting it off for 6 months, but I have been. I've done it several times, so it was a bit faster for me, but it's just getting those wires where they belong. If you don't get the wires where they belong, you can burn up your printer, you can burn up your motherboard, and motherboards aren't cheap right now. They're relatively quick. They're relatively not cheap. They're relatively expensive right now. I don't remember how this goes. I think it goes like that. Yeah. So yeah, so this is a set of Craftsman metric wrenches. I love these. They are fantastic. I love the extra length that I get with them. These are really handy when I work on 3D printers. And they were just purchased off Amazon. I think I got a standard and the metric set for $15, something like that around Christmas. But no, the laser thing is kind of something I'm getting into, especially as I'm making more models. I've started working with the lasers to kind of start trying to create really cool stands with the laser engraver. So that's another reason why I want this printer working. I've been playing with my Wanalux and my longer one very, very much so here lately. I'm trying to get those calibrated in and learn more of how to use them, because it is very, very different using the lasers than what you would think it would be. But they're not, the software is very different. So, well, what would you guys like to see me do for about 15 minutes? Oh, thanks, Dan. I appreciate that. Shaka, I've been working with printers since 2018, so I've been working with them for about 5 years now. And define the word comfortable. 3D printing, it's an avenue for me. I've worked in the IT field for over 15 years now, and I kind of lost something. And I didn't feel creative. I didn't feel fun. I was just doing the humdrum thing every day. And model kits, let's be honest, model kits, good gosh, for a model kit, you're going to spend anywhere from, I remember growing up as a kid, they were like $10. For the big Star Trek models were maybe 25. And now they're hundreds of dollars. I think the 1350 Enterprise refit is what, $180 or something like that now? I mean, they're horrifically priced to build cool models. And then came along Eagle Moss with their starships at about 30, 40 bucks a pop. And I love these, but it doesn't cost 30 bucks to make these. I can make these at my whim right now. And I do. I'm actually probably going to be bringing a commission on to the weekly streams that someone has asked me to print and paint. I'm charging them time and my paint time and stuff like that, material. But I mean, I've been doing this for over 5 years and I still get uncomfortable with it. I'll be honest with you, when I get these new machines, the only thing that gives me the guts to actually open that box is doing this for you guys. Sometimes I'm sitting there like, I just don't want to deal with this thing. My CR10s have been my babies. They have been my babies, and I feel really bad. I'm noticing they're starting to show their age. They're starting to show the 4 or 5 years that I've beaten the tar out of them. And then I switch over to resin, and that's a whole new set of ball game, a whole new set of frustrations that can just drive you nuts. But in all honesty, I relish that. I want to be challenged. I want to figure it out how to put something different together. And then having to figure out how to bring the cameras and all that kind of stuff in to let you guys see what I do. It's really kind of a fun thing. Guys, if you're out there, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button. Let us know you're liking the stream. It helps the channel out. It's free. But resin is a whole different ballpark, because resin, that's one resin print. And look at all that detail. I don't know if I could have done this in FDM as neatly as this is done. I mean, this thing is just beautiful. And this wasn't even done with my 8K printer. This was a Saturn S printed this with Frozen's resin. And it came out fantastic. I'm actually kind of itching to finish cleaning this up to paint it, because I love me Warhammer. Warhammer, me love. But even just taking into making simple jewelry, going to craft shows, different things like that. But for me, the science fiction aspect, that's me playing this. Me printing a starship, that's me. I love science fiction ships. Warhammer, Star Trek, Star Wars. I've got so many models sitting in my repository or that I've picked up on sales and purchases. I probably will be printing for the rest of my life. And then, my friend Joe Hudson teaching me how to paint and getting me to paint. And take the model to the next level has been just a godsend that he was introduced to, that I was introduced to him, and he's been willing to be part of my life and work with me, because I mean, we've done some amazing stuff together, and we're not done yet. There's new stuff coming. Next Friday's video will be about actually me sitting down and interviewing Joe. That'll be on both channels, where we talk to, we just sit and we have like a podcasting conversation, but there's video. So, I always have video. So, I mean, it's all that kind of cool stuff that comes into it, the people you meet, the complexity of the hobby, because it's not just about buying a printer, and going a file and boom, I've got a model. It don't work that way. And Shaka, I know you can contest to this because we've spent what I don't know how many emails back and forth figuring out problems with your printer and just making sure that we can get you printing, because that's where this whole channel started. Was I want people to be able to do this. It's not rocket scientists. Yes, there's sometimes bad equipment, and yeah, it kind of sucks that it gets out there, but kind of one of the things coming over here and doing this though is there are just, haters too, that I got to watch out for, that just come on here and and the bots that come into the chats and stuff like that. So it's basically, I've taken my IT career to create the streaming and also build my printer. It's just taken time to get my printers to be the best they can be. And it's a little hard to watch my CR10s start to struggle. And it's one of those things. 2 of them, I need to pull all the rollers off and replace them. I mean, that's a pretty daunting task. And honestly, you guys will probably see me bring it here to the bench, because those are the printers, man. The CR10s are my core. They're the only printer that I have 4 of. If that says anything about the CR10 series, they are. You get your profile in Cura or whatever program you choose to use dialed in. That printer will work for you until it doesn't. And usually it's a pretty big problem when it doesn't want to work. So, yeah, your CR10, I really think it's something in Cura with the CR10 V3, because mine just clogs now. I don't know what's going on. Honestly, it's sitting pulled off the shelf for overhaul. But even my original CR10 V1, oh man, that poor guy, he still prints. I mean, he just sits there like a workhorse. The Ender 3s, the SDM, hey SDM, how's it going, man? Appreciate you showing up. The SDM printers, there are Freudian, okay. The Ender 3s are good printers to learn on, and so are the Odins. The Odins are actually my personal favorite now. When someone asks me what printer I should start on, I usually either tell them, get you a CR10 so you purchase it one more time, but if you're just wanting to do little stuff with FDM, get you a Focus Odin 5. You get the direct drive, you get all the cool bells and whistles, and honestly, because you can pull 4 bolts, fold it, and put it away when you're not using it is a really great advantage of that machine over the time it's going to take you to put an Ender together. A Focus Odin 5, 15 minutes out of the box, you're gold. You're ready to level and start printing. So, Shaka hit on the landmine here of how did I even get comfortable with this? It's just time and experience and patience. Patience is the golden word of 3D printing. Is you've got to be patient, you've got to be curious, and you got to be willing to, if it fails, all right, back to the drawing board. Why did it fail? And try again. Now, granted, that hurts your wallet. It hurts your wallet bad. But it's one of those things that, that's the challenge of it is, what do I got to do to get this successful print? And putting in the work to get that print is rewarding. I mean, I see all the cool Battlefleet Gothic Warhammer ships, and now I'm actually sitting here hold one because no one produces them. No, I don't think I've ever seen anything from Games Workshop of the fleets, and other than in the video games and stuff and the books. And now here we go. So, yep, you are completely right on the patience, precision, and curiosity. It is all a name of the game. Now, the other thing too is willingness. I don't know how many failed prints I've had. That I sat there and looked at it and said, what can I make this into? And a great experience of that, especially you guys that have watched the channel for all this time, is that Battlestar Pegasus. I honestly probably would have originally thrown it away as a fail and do that. Um, because those top portions didn't finish, I had to innovate and kit bash it. And I took honestly, those front pieces and stuff that I put on that came from a Venator 3D print of spare parts that I had printed. And it just clicked in my mind, wow, this would look really cool on the front to finish that project. Instead of taking wood filler and just filling it across, I innovated. And that's the fun thing about model building is what can I innovate with? Honestly, some of that wire that I just cut out of there, you're probably going to see go over to the Gundam models that I'm building over on the model channel to give a little bit more detail. Yeah, the creality printers are great for customization. They really are. And it just depends on how far you're willing to go with it and to make those customizations and make that printer your own. I mean, that printer was made so that it could sit over there where that Ender 2 is sitting, that it was so quiet that I could actually have it here in the office. At the old house, it did sit in my office. It actually sat on my desk right there. I'd sit there working on my IT job all day, and there's a print building right beside me. Now, how the addiction started. So I was getting married to my wife, Megan, which you've seen her in some of the YouTube shorts and some of the other videos. She's a veterinarian, and we were planning our wedding, and I started looking at the prices of these wedding decorations, especially these little toothpicks that go in the cupcakes. If you guys are curious, it's way back there. It's an old video on the channel. We did a video together talking about printing for our wedding. And these picks that people were selling for $4 or $5 a pick, I needed like 100 of them. I was printing 10 of them in a couple hours. And it just was one of those things. I appreciate it, Mamadou. I really do appreciate that there. It's kind of one of those things you just got to kind of look at what you're doing, what's your intention. Now, I was printing for the wedding, okay? Just outright printing for the wedding. I wasn't going to make it with one Ender 3. So what happened? I bought a second one. So I used to have two of those original Ender 3s. One has since moved on to a new home. And I doubled capacity. I was like, all right, we're getting there. But then we wanted some bigger stuff, some bowls that were letters. Ender 3 is not big enough. Okay. So I bought the CR10 V1 and was printing the bigger stuff. I'm like, all right, 3 printers. Well, my dad got into it. He bought an Ender 3. I was still going to fall short. So I said, Dad, print these. So at one point I had 4 printers going to get prepared for my wedding. I made it thanks to the help of my father and using his printer and stuff, which he's addicted to it now. He's got, I think, 3 FDM printers now. He doesn't want to go up to resin. I don't blame him. The chemicals, the smells, I don't blame him. And he's got a 2-year-old running around the house. So really don't blame him for not wanting to do that. I'll do the resin work for him and ship it to him. But, you know, it's just kind of one of those things. It allows you to really kind of open up your creality, your personality, your creativity, and your personality. Now, one of the things for me, too, is I'm now getting into AutoCAD and ZBrush. I'm starting to go into that route where I'm creating my own stuff. I'm using, I think it's Forager on my iPad, and then sending it over to ZBrush and finishing it out in Fusion, and just kind of starting to make my own models of my own stuff that I'm looking for, my own creativity, because, you know, just stuff wasn't made that you look for. Like Babylon 5. This is a great example. There's 4 official model kits. There was the Station, the Star Fury. I think there was only 2. And I'll tell you, over there in that box is all the parts I need to make a White Star right now. That I'm going to try to start assembling a White Star and put in here. because that ship was awesome. And the Narn cruiser, yeah, heck yeah, heck yeah. The Minbari cruiser, I'm even kind of interested in getting into that. The Warhammer cruisers. I'll tell you, there's another one of a different design upstairs of the another Imperial cruiser. So there's a lot that you can do, and it's really worth getting into 3D printing. It really is, as long as you have the patience and desire to keep going. Otherwise, like if you're just a model builder, you just want to paint the stuff, clean it and paint it and make it cool that way, that's awesome. Come talk to me. I'll print it for you and help you out to help you get that model that you're looking for that's unique. That's kind of one of the things that I'm kind of branching into, is just taking some of these printers and being a print service that I haven't really done yet, but we're kind of moving that way. And I've got stuff out on my shop, rise3dprintingshop.com, to do my own sales of models and my own paint jobs. So I do have a website out there of my own stuff. And I'm on Etsy too with some of that same stuff. But I mean, I'm breaking down to, you can't really see it, but even earrings. I mean, these are Doctor Who TARDIS. The Rogue One symbol as an earring that once these are done, I use sterling silver hooks and I seal it so the resin's not an issue for health. And boom, I've just made a set of earrings for really cheap. And honestly, if you got kids, they break stuff. Let them break that. I can print that in droves. But one of the things that I've really kind of been getting back into, and I'll talk about this over on the model channel more, is the pewter figurines. I'm kind of starting to kind of get a small collection of that going, where I've even found some of the old Federation pewter model kits. So I'm really kind of stoked to even start putting those together. But that will be over on the model channel. That won't be over here. So that's kind of the dividing line I've created here. The model channel, Rise of Miniatures and Models, is separate because I didn't make that model. I didn't print it. I didn't create it. It wasn't created here. It's a model kit that I bought. So that one is just going to be assembly and painting. It's not going to be the print process. And if you guys miss it and want me to bring those old how-to time lapses back, I am not against it because they were a lot of fun. And now with the newer stuff I've got to do time lapsing, really kind of looking forward to it. But I have rambled and I have come up to the end of the time I had available, guys. So I really do appreciate everybody hopping on. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Everybody that made a donation tonight, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And we're going to continue driving on our goals. Make sure you go out and if you're interested in supporting the channel and helping us get new equipment, new things to bring on here and test out, make sure you look at that join button and become a member. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. And we will see you guys in the next stream on Tuesday night, 8:15 EST is when we stream on this channel. And I'm trying to get streaming set up for the other channel. So definitely keep an eye out for us. And if you're not able to get to YouTube, we are over on Twitch at the same time. So thank you guys. Have a great night, and we will see you all later.